Hey everyone, happy
Hello.
Monday.
Happy Monday.
It is so good to be back with you, Carly.
I
We missed you
know.
last week. I was solo last week, and I really don't like doing this show solo because am just talking to myself, and
Thank you for
that's
holding the
not
fort down.
not really interesting. But
You're
it's
interesting.
good to have you back.
Yes.
And we've got a pretty short list. This was a very slow news week.
But you know what
Uh,
that means? Something this week might be happening.
Something's gonna
Maybe.
blow up. Something's gonna blow up. Yes, I know. It's so funny. I Universal always knows when I'm working on a deadline. I have 5 days left to finish the Universal book, and I went there on Friday to take notes and stuff. And two semi-major things changed between Friday and this morning. They changed the date. The walk experience at Island's Dining Room is now also available Monday and Tuesday, as well as Friday and Saturday.
Dang it.
Really loved that. We did that the other week, and I really enjoyed that. And Cafe La Bamba in studios is now a Starbucks.
Wait, it opened like a week ago with the quick service
Yep.
Mexican food? What?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's had the Mexican. It closed the
It
Mexican.
closed,
It
but then
opened
it
the
reopened.
Mexican. And as of this morning, the Starbucks in New York is under renovation, and this is now our Starbucks. So this is what Universal does when they know I'm on a deadline. So we've got some folks in the chat that we're going to
Yes.
say hi to, and then we are just going to do this thing. First up, as always, Mr. Michael Bingham, welcome, saying hello to everyone. I'm so glad you are feeling better and you got your voice back. Glad that you can join us for another episode. In Derek's corner, we've got Blossom and Michelangelo. Hello, folks. And Weiser saying hello. Thank you so much. Brian Sager is back. He saw the Barbie movie last night, and reactions are high.
Yes, I had a few
uh,
friends at the premiere last night
yeah.
and it looked amazing.
And also Elton John played his last ever live concert in Europe. And he also mentions the rumor mill for the Hatbox Ghost. It better finally come to Magic Kingdom in August because they announced it definitively, officially, not just a rumor. They promised it,
Announced it,
and
yeah.
I put it in my book. So darn it, it better come out before the book comes out. Um, Carly, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
And my favorite viewer, Genevieve
Yes.
Bernard, checking in.
I better
Hello,
see you next
Genevieve.
week.
Yes, yeah, looking forward to next week. Is everyone invited to that, or maybe we
Yes.
shouldn't discuss it? We don't want everyone crashing. But thank you to all of you joining us, and I do believe that we've got enough folks listening that it is time for us to jump straight
Yes.
into this thing and kick it off in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 199 of the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I am Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what is going on in our own lives. And Carly, I missed having you here
I
last
know.
week. It is not as much fun doing this without you. How have you been and what have you been up to?
I have been great. I did a little hibernation this weekend, to get ready for summer travel. The last couple of weeks, I did a few fun things. I went to Great Wolf Lodge for my first time. We did a
Oh,
little staycation there. And
which one?
I went to the one in Concord, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I had an amazing time. It definitely exceeded my expectations. It was so well themed. The
Excellent.
food was really good. The room was so nice, and it's like a wilderness lodge-esque. It was a really great time. We did like an adults only trip, and there was actually a lot of other adults only doing it too. Briefly popped in to Universal to go to Minion Cafe.
Oh, I've eaten there a
Yes.
couple times in the last few weeks. What
Oh
did you
my
think?
God. I loved it. Well, first off, obviously the atmosphere is amazing. They did such a good job. It's such a one up from the Hollywood version, which I love the
Absolutely.
food
Yes.
there, but you don't sit inside.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought the
so
food here was much better than the one in Hollywood, and the decor.
yeah, and it's just like much more exciting food. I only got one thing. I tried the Agnes's honeymoon soup with the
Oh,
pimento
okay.
grilled cheese.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. The soup was flavorful. The crispy little pork belly on it was wonderful. The the little pimento grilled cheese that was like the
Mm.
waffle grilled cheese. It was excellent. I'm excited to come back and have more time and try many things because the menu is quite
Very
eclectic. And
extensive.
yeah, it's like
Very
so
diverse.
exciting to see a quick service place at Universal
Mm-hmm.
do this.
Yeah,
So
it's a step up from quick service. Their Universal sort of got this mid-range
hybrid, yeah.
between the counter service, what we think of as the traditional fast food, and the sit down. They've got places that are like the Leaky Cauldron or Three Broomsticks, where the food is elevated, and there's a little bit more service to it. I like the way that you can do a mobile order, and then they show you to a table, and you
Yeah.
just tap your phone. Hopefully, the NFC tag works correctly, and you just tap your phone and it knows where you're sitting and brings it to you. But I'd say I've gotten my food very fast every time
Oh
I've
yeah.
eaten there. The only thing that I had that I didn't think was a home run was the noodle bowl, because I thought the broth was kind of
Oh yeah,
bland,
you
but
said
it's got
that. Mhm.
a great presentation. But the Szechuan
You
chicken, you
also
get
live
half. Yeah,
right.
yeah, you get half of the
Um,
chicken and a big bowl of noodles. The pet rock, which is peanut butter and grape jelly with a chocolate shell, that was delicious. And I think the sleeper hit is the minion tots. They have these tater tots that are shaped like
yes.
minions, but it's not just it's like a flavored mashed potato kind of inside. I'm not sure exactly what the
It's like
filling is, but
it's a smashed potato basically,
yeah,
like
it's
deep fried,
delicious. Those
yeah.
are
Mhm.
some of the best fried potatoes on Universal property. So,
Yes.
a
Well,
lot of good things to say.
tested out using a gift card because I found, like, the
Oh,
Mardi
okay.
Gras AP gift cards that they were like,
Yes, you
spend
discovered one?
100. Well, I did it and forgot I had it,
Yeah.
so what a winner now. So I tested out using the gift card, and it was this quick. There's
Mm.
not a lot of people are doing the going up to the register thing, so it took literally 2 seconds, purchased within, like, 3 to 5 minutes, I got my food.
Oh, so I don't think you can use a gift card in the
No,
mobile app.
not
So,
yet.
yes, there is still a counter, even though they're focused on mobile order, there is still a counter if you want to go up and order directly. Um, my big expedition, I did something that I hardly ever do. I went to a theme park on a holiday. 4th of July, I went
Ooh,
to Epcot to see the fireworks. And my rule is try to avoid theme parks, especially Disney, on major holidays. I will say, from the data we're looking at and just my experience walking around the park, it was one of the least busy 4th of Julys that I can remember.
right.
Not as bad, not as dead as the very first 4th of July after the pandemic, but surprisingly quiet, and definitely not as busy as even an average summer day last year.
Right.
Um,
And we're seeing a lot of people, especially like this week. I'm actually in like a group conversation about this, like speculate why.
mhm,
I went over Christmas and it was dead. I had like the best Magic Kingdom day
mhm,
ever, the best ever day in Diagon Alley. And it's like we can think of all these reasons, but it's really hard because there's so many factors playing in. I think
yeah,
people travel differently post COVID,
mhm,
so it's so crazy, but it's hard now because you cannot really ever say there's never been an off time, at least for the last like
no.
decade, but now it's even more complicated.
I I I will say the busiest days that I've experienced over the last year have been at times we would have traditionally thought of as slower times,
Right.
and some of the slowest days have been during what should have been a peak. You can blame part of it on the the park reservation system. You can blame part of it on things like Genie Plus making the parks feel different than maybe they're
Right.
actually, the number of people in the parks. I think one thing that people might be underestimating is the weather this summer. Having lived here since the mid 90s, I can't remember a summer with worse heat and then worse rain. It's like, we've always gotten those afternoon thunderstorms, and usually you can just sort of ride it out for 15 minutes. But when these hit now, they are brutal. It feels like a mini hurricane.
Right.
And we got such torrential rain on 4th of July in the afternoon. I think that might have, pushed some people away. I know that we were headed into the park, and we detoured to the yacht club and just hung out at the yacht club for a while, waiting for the storm to pass.
Right.
And I don't think we were the only ones.
No. And like the summer vacation is like such a 80s,
Yep.
90s mindset. And now
Mhm.
parents are like, I'm pulling my kids out of school in October because I just got this deal, and it's a little more less traditional. But it's kind of awesome because now there are days where you can really enjoy and do a lot of things and experience those kind of less crowded moments.
Yeah. Though I will say that these drop-offs, I think, apply more to Disney than to Universal, because Universal, I wasn't at Universal on the 4th of July, but I did go a couple days after. And Universal, to me, while did not feel as busy as last year, still felt busier than Disney. So yeah, it's a complicated thing. There are a lot of people. There's actually an article today in the I believe the Washington Post that quotes touring plans and some other organizations that we're friends with. So check that out. Yeah, the story of attendance in Orlando this year is all over the place. So having said that, I think it is just about time for us to dive into the news. All right. So I think that the first news story might involve a bit of an apology on my behalf, because I kind of maybe made fun of the idea of this a little when we talked about it. But from all the reviews, all the videos, this appears to be a big hit. And I am talking about Rogers the Musical at Disney California Adventure. We've got photos, we've got a making of panel. We got lots of information about this new epic one-act musical being performed in the Hyperion Theater, but the consensus seems to be a big thumbs up.
Yes, stellar reviews. The only negativity as I've seen is closed Sunday, Monday. So it's dark.
Yes.
2 days of a week for a limited run show. So maybe they didn't cast enough. Maybe they didn't predict demand.
Based on the fact that they are performing so few shows a day, and that they are dark 2 days a week, I have to assume that they only have a single main cast and maybe some swing, a handful of swing understudies, but they don't have a full A cast and B cast like they traditionally do for a show like this. I gotta guess that's because this was only intended as a short-term summer promotion. If this had been conceived as a long-term thing, I think they probably would have doubled. Maybe the reaction to this will encourage them to double cast it and extend this, because I've heard great things, not just about the music, but also about the story and the emotion. Because it seems to focus not just on Steve Rogers and the story of Captain America, but it also makes a lot of room for one of my favorite Marvel characters, Peggy Carter, Agent Peggy Carter, and she really seems to get her due in this. So I really wish I could get out and see it in person.
Well, I think we're blocked out, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh, we sure are. We sure are. And until August, and I'm pretty sure this is going to wrap up just before our passes open back up again. But we do have photos, we've got videos, and we've got a great panel discussion that you can listen to the audio of. The only thing that I'm not 100% sold on is most of the costumes look pretty fleshed out, pretty fully developed costumes, except for the Avenger characters themselves. And they all seem to be in these like casual reinterpretations, like they're wearing hoodies and stuff. It sort of reminds me of like They're bounding. It sort of reminds me of like Spider-Man in the first Spider-Man movie where he's just like wearing a sweatshirt with a spider painted on
Yeah.
it. But all the other costumes, the video, the set pieces all look really Broadway quality.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've just put so much marketing behind this for a limited run short week series. But you know what? More live entertainment in the parks, more live actors working. All
Amen.
for it. I don't care what the show is. Keep them going.
Amen. Well, you know, it does show some faith in it that they went out of their way to produce a whole bunch of merch,
Yep.
including T-shirts, signs, magnets, and ornaments. And they've also, as every good Disney show or event has to have, there is an upcharge. You can purchase a reserved seating that comes with a popcorn bucket full of red, white, and blue popcorn. And there's also plenty of other food tied into this. All, I'm sure, beautiful to look at and absolutely way too sweet to eat.
Yes, except for the hot dog. That one
The
looks
hot dog,
really
actually, the
good to me,
pastrami pretzel hot dog looks
Yes.
pretty good.
with the everything seasoning. So
Yeah.
there's a lot going on, but this gives us a little bit of good faith for the future of the theater.
Yeah. So actually, the last performance of this right now is scheduled to take place on August 31st. So if it runs throughout August, I think our passes unblock before the end of that. So maybe we can take a trip out there.
Squeeze it in, yeah.
Squeeze it in. If you have seen this, give us a shout out and let us know what you thought. Next up, now for something completely different. On the 4th of July, Las Vegas had a big debut after what seems like years of development and construction. The Sphere Las Vegas, the MSG Sphere, turned on, debuting the world's largest LED screen. And if you think that the beacons of light LEDs that they have on Spaceship Earth are impressive, you ain't seen nothing compared to this. It is massive.
Right. And you know what? Things never photograph or video well, but this looks so insane on my little tiny iPhone screen. So that says something.
There, if you go to our YouTube channel, there's some drone footage of this. I've also seen footage that people took from the parking lot. It is just stunning. Okay, so this thing measures 580,000 square feet of projection surface, covered in 1.2 million LED pucks. And each of those pucks has 48 individual lights. So what you get is 5 times the surface area of Spaceship Earth.
That number is crazy. When I read that, I was trying to wrap my head around it or even picture what that will look like in person. Unreal.
So on the 4th of July, Independence Day, they kicked this thing off. I believe it was like 9 p.m. Vegas time. I thought it was fun that the first thing it displayed when it booted up was "Hello World," which, if you know the history of computer science, it's like "Hello World" is like the first thing you teach a computer to say when you develop a new operating system. But it progressed to doing just absolutely amazing visuals. It turns into underwater. It turns into the surface of the moon. For me, the creepiest thing was it became a giant eyeball. And it was like photorealistic, super detailed eyeball with veins and stuff looking around and blinking. Absolutely stunning. And this thing is going to apparently run nightly. Having free shows on the strip, off the strip. Actually, it's a bit off the strip. But
on the strip.
No, you couldn't fit this thing off the strip. It's actually a bit east of the strip. If you want to take a ride on the high roller, that will give you at the link. That would give you great viewing. A lot of the hotels on the east side of the strip, if they face to the east, you're going to have amazing views of this thing. But it's not, it's great that there's a new free show in Vegas because, like, we still have the Bellagio fountains, but we're losing the Mirage volcano.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those, free entertainment like the pirate ship
Pirate
at
show.
Treasure Island, all long gone.
So good.
So it's great to have another free show in Vegas.
But
But
there's
the
a
show,
cost.
yeah, well, the show inside is definitely not free.
But also, this is going to
Yeah.
be a means of advertising.
Yes.
So
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. This is like the world's biggest billboard.
right.
And the number one thing it's advertising is the MSG Sphere Theater, which is the entertainment venue, which is the inside this thing.
Yeah.
And that is going to need some help because they have spent so much money building this thing. I was looking at tickets for U2, Achung Baby Live, featuring U2 is going to be the first show in here.
Right.
It opens in September. The opening shows are sold out. I did see that there were some tickets available starting at $500 a piece, and they go up to $4,000 plus a piece. There's also going to be a film made by Darren Aronofsky that's going to play on the giant screen inside of here. And that's also pretty expensive. That's like a $60 minimum to see that movie.
Right. And Vegas is expensive, but it's really
Vegas,
I don't expensive as people think it is. Like there are a lot of things you could do that aren't as crazy. It's going to be more than everything.
Well, the economics of Vegas are very interesting. You've always had these casinos with theaters with artists like your Celine Dion's or Adele or Donny Osmond, and these big, expensive, elaborate theaters, these big, expensive shows. But generally, they've been subsidized by the gambling. The casino is what's underwriting this, and even though the ticket prices might seem astronomical if you go to the box office, a lot of those people in there are not paying those prices. They are being comped or underwritten by the casino and the hotel side. The MSG Sphere is not attached to any casino or any hotel. It is a standalone thing. So I am really curious. The whales, the gamblers, who fill up the expensive seats at these Vegas theaters, how are they going to get over there? What's going to draw them over there? So this, there's a lot of questions economically about the Sphere, but from all the renderings we've seen, all the construction photos, it's going to be an incredible venue to see a show in. I hope I get a chance. Just the fact, we talked about when I was in Abu Dhabi at the SeaWorld, there has this enormous wraparound screen that's a 8K resolution, I think. This is a 16K by 16K resolution, the highest resolution LED screen on Earth in the inside of
I need sunglasses.
I really do. I think this thing could blind you if you wanted to. So I'm looking forward. It's just a couple more months until this opens up. But it's going to be really interesting to see if this business model works, because the number one thing I've heard is that bands, artists are kind of intimidated. If you look at this picture here, you see this vast space, and the band is this tiny little dot right here. And there are only certain artists that want to compete with a screen, the world's largest LED screen. Just this expense of coming up with a show that really utilizes that screen, that alone is a big barrier to doing a concert here. So once U2 finishes their residency, it's going to be really interesting to see what other kind of acts they can get to sign on to do something on this scale. I don't think there are a lot of acts that wouldn't be just kind of dwarfed and overshadowed by this room. We shall see.
Yeah.
If you want more information about the MSG Sphere, you can visit sphereentertainmentco.com. And like I said, on our YouTube channel, we've got some great video. Next up, Los Angeles is welcoming some new immersive escape rooms from industry leader 60 Out. They're opening a flagship location for their escape rooms at HHLA, formerly known as Promenade at the Howard Hughes Center. It's going to feature some of the West Coast's most innovative escape rooms.
Yes, this sounds really fun. I was particularly interested in what they have licensed for the first entertainment, the Smurfs.
You couldn't get two more different
Oh yeah.
titles. You've got on one hand the Smurfs, family-friendly, interactive adventure, and on the other hand you have Godzilla versus Kong. And I so badly want a mashup of the two of those, where it's Godzilla and Kong versus the Smurfs.
It's just wild. When I read that, I was like, my jaw dropped a little bit because you never would read those in the same sentences. Uh, Other anticipated ones include the Titanic, which I would love to do. I love the Titanic Museum. I think it is one of the coolest immersive museums. So I'm just wondering what an escape room approach to Titanic is going to be.
I gotta say that I would have to learn more, because I think that's could be a delicate matter of taste. Like,
Escaping.
oh,
Yes.
oh, you didn't make it out in 60 minutes. 60 minutes, you drowned. So sorry, you're third class. Oh, you figured out all the clues. Oh,
I
you
mean,
get to be first class. You get
so
you get to get
curious.
on a lifeboat. Yeah, that could be a little rough. They've also got Casino Heist, a hotel on Road 66 that is based on a true crime story.
Ooh.
And if you don't like the physical escape rooms, they've also got VR experiences too. This company was the first to have a escape room license back in 2017 for Jumanji. And this new entertainment center cost them nearly $3 million. Really elaborate sets, props. You can see some of the designs they've got for Godzilla versus Kong. It's definitely a step up over some of your strip mall escape rooms.
Absolutely. And that like makes me think of, Universal's great movie Escape. It's really hard to market these because they're not they fall under the escape room category, so you call them escape rooms, but it's almost not fair to call them escape rooms because
Yeah,
they are next level from, like you said, your strip mall.
Yes, absolutely. This is the location that's near the airport, but they've got 4 other locations in town, with themes ranging from Alice in Wonderland to Dracula. And this location, this is the new flagship location. It's going to be open Monday through Friday, 10 to 10, and Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to half past midnight.
Ooh.
If you go to 60out.com, you can get more info and make a reservation. This is one that I might check out. You're right. I absolutely love escape rooms, and this one definitely looks next level. So I would love to check this out.
Absolutely.
If any of our California visitors are in that area and want to visit this one for us, let us know what it's like. All right, and last, we've got New Yorkers who are still playing Angry Birds have the first ever Angry Birds Cafe to visit in New York City, but it's not Manhattan, New York City. It's Queens. Yes,
Yes.
Queens.
So I'm going home in a couple of weeks, and I'm going into Manhattan to see Little Shop of Horrors.
Ooh.
So I was like, this has to be in Midtown. So I'll go pop in. And then I looked and I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not going. I'll check out anything if it's in the vicinity of where I'm going.
So I actually, as soon as I saw the address for this, I knew exactly where it was, because this is blocks away from where my mom grew up in Flushing. It's funny because this neighborhood, a long time ago, was Jewish, Eastern European, and over the years has transformed different ethnicities and is now heavily Chinese. It is one of the largest Chinatowns in the country. And it is not far from the site of the classic 1964 World's Fair, New York Met City Field and the U.S. Open Tennis Center. and they have built this shopping mall called Tangaram. And it is a giant Asian shopping mall, and it's anchored now by the Angry Birds Cafe. So it is the perfect place for something like this.
Absolutely. And it does look really cute. I mean, they always execute these kind of niche shops very well. So
Yep.
would be
So-
worth a visit.
So the cafe, you can get Chef Pig's signature hamburgers and sandwiches, and tweet sweet desserts. There's bubble teas, coffees, hot chocolates, and everything, of course, is Instagram worthy. Plenty of photo ops. And did we mention merch? Oh, there's merch. There's
There's
so
always
much
merch.
Yeah, lots of exclusive t-shirts, hoodies with limited time graphics. They've got special in-house artists and exclusive designs. And they've got partnerships with Venom Collection and Capsule Skateboards, so you can get some trendy items with them. And they also have setups for private parties and events. They have nests. There are little private rooms you can rent out and play Angry Birds VR or other games.
Very fun. And like you said, it's only less than a mile from the 1964 World's Fairgrounds, which is so fun to go to. Go. Amazing to see.
Yep. So if you want some more information on this, go to TANGRAMNYC.com. All right. That is going to bring us to the end of our news. Before we jump into the big story of the week, it is time to hear a word from our sponsors.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction!
All right, for this week's main attraction, we have some news that has crossed over from the theme park world into the mainstream media. You know it's big news when it shows up on Good Morning America and your grandma is talking about it. Carowinds has addressed the big crack in their Fury 325 coaster. We have some details about their plans to repair it and reopen it. This is probably the biggest unplanned closure in theme parks this season. It is big news because just an ordinary guest standing in line waiting to ride the big Fury 325, which we have talked about several times in recent weeks.
I went on it for the first time a month ago.
Just a month ago, and I guarantee that crack did not appear overnight. That crack was forming a month ago. But it was spotted. It was reported to park operators who shut down the ride, but it had gotten to the point where the crack was fully through the support pipe. And if you watch the video carefully, you can see the pipe completely detaches, the whole track shifts, and you see daylight. You should not see daylight through a support when a roller coaster is on it.
Yes.
Very scary.
When I heard this happened, I thought, so Fury 325 lines up to the parking lot, the main parking lot. So when you're walking into the park after you park your car, you're in front of one of the main support beams. So I was like, I wonder if that was it. No, it's kind of a one tucked around the side where group trip school buses park. So if you are parking in the normal parking lot, you would definitely have seen it, but it's kind of tucked away to the side. So I'm thinking that the person that caught it was parked in kind of a weird area and that's how they saw it. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that this went undetected and scary. And why did this happen? You know?
Yeah, we have a link to the original video and it's pretty scary.
Mhm.
So let's make clear there have been no injuries. There have been no deaths. No one reported getting hurt by this, so that's a good thing. It was caught in time. But to be honest, like and they did close the ride that day when they discovered it, and immediately began inspections and repairs. They've been using drones to inspect it, and they said they're going to do that going forward.
I
So on
went
July,
on Saturday and there was like cranes in the area, so I think they
oh
were
yeah.
supporting the track with cranes. Yeah, it's
So on July 6th, they released a statement. We've got a link to it, and we're not going to read the entire statement. But basically, they said that B&M, which is the manufacturer of the ride, is manufacturing a new support column that they are going to remove the old one, install a new support column, and then they are going to thoroughly test it. They're going to run at least 500 complete cycles with no guests. They're going to do all sorts of accelerometer tests and inspections. And then once that's done, then they'll have a date for us when the ride
yeah.
is going to reopen. But what
And I
I,
think the big thing is reevaluating their maintenance and inspection
yes,
process.
absolutely. Well, so the interesting thing about this is, I'm sure there's going to be investigation into whether this was a contributing factor. The fact that Carowinds sits across two state lines. You've got some of the rides are in South Carolina, some of the rides are in North Carolina. I believe Fury 325 falls under the North Carolina Bureau of
Yes. Mhm.
Labor. But from what I understand, there's really no coordination between the two state inspection teams. And maybe that's something that they're going to look at, getting those two groups to talk to each other. Um, they have not detailed any specifics about why this happened, how this happened, other than saying that it appears that the crack formed along a weld line. Um, but
Right. So it's a complicated situation because you could blame B&M who
yeah,
created it, but it's also the fault of the park for not noticing it because, like you said,
yeah,
it was there before that day.
yeah. You said you were on it just a month ago. They have evidence that the crack was there as early as June 24th. So it had been formed for at least a week, and who knows how much longer before that might have not been visible, but might have been starting. Um,
Absolutely. I will say I did go on a coaster this weekend
yes,
there, and I did notice quite a few like maintenance-ish looking people like
I can
hanging around the
imagine.
loading station. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah,
They're
I mean
gonna,
yes. You always feel a little bit better when you see lots of the blue shirts,
yep, yep, a
making
whole
sure that
crew.
everything is
So
is tight.
yes,
But yeah, I mean, you never want to see things like this, especially you don't want to see it crossing from the niche enthusiast news groups over into primetime network,
right,
or Good Morning. You don't want to see this on Good Morning America. It's not a
absolutely.
good look.
But you know what? It's like theme parks are a place where so many of us feel like unequivocally safe.
Right.
That when
Hmm.
something happens like this, it's kind of earth shattering. It's the same kind of a lot of us felt like when Disney closed with the pandemic. It's like these are certainties in our life that we're like, they're just there, they're safe, it's fine. And
Yeah.
when this happens, it kind of just rocks you to the core because you're like, maybe I'm not as safe as
Yeah.
I thought I was.
Yeah. And it, just thank goodness that this was an incident that was caught in time, and they're going through the process. They're fixing it. It's not a situation like with the drop tower here in Orlando where someone had to lose their life to find out that things weren't functioning correctly.
Right.
So good luck to the good luck to the maintenance folks in Carowinds, because I'm sure that they are all working triple time right now. They got a lot of pressure, all
Yes.
eyes on them. So good luck,
And
folks.
I kind of want to go when they put the new beam in.
I totally want you to go and then report back.
Got it.
Well, I think that is just going to about bring us to the end of this week's broadcast. But before we wrap up, let's take a look back at some of the comments that we got from our listeners or watchers in the queue. And Wiser says that they love the Barbie movie because they're going to see it with their mom. So yay!
I'm excited. I mean, the
let us
marketing is
know.
unreal.
Yes. Oh my God. I would not be surprised if it ends up making as much money as the Super Mario movie. I feel like it's got that kind of pent up
Whoever is
enthusiasm.
leading the marketing promotional campaign, like they're a king or a queen, because it is everywhere. You cannot escape it.
Yep.
It is brilliant. I mean, and the movie, who knows how that's going to be, but I'm going to go
Right.
see it now just because
For
of
sure.
all this.
Vince Lamb is wishing everyone a
Ooh.
happy Pina Colada Day and an early Mojito Day and
Okay.
World Population Day. Do you think that all those Pina Coladas and Mojitos might contribute to the world population?
Yes.
And thank you. Yes, I braved the theme park crowds on July 4th. And like we said, it was surprisingly not awful. I was shocked. I was able to get a reasonable spot to watch the 4th of July fireworks on the international, like the bridge between UK and France. As the fireworks were happening, I was still able to find a spot.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, and if you want to do Magic Kingdom, you just have to go the day before.
Yeah,
don't wanna go
exactly.
for the
Exactly. Hola to Antonio Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us. And Weiser was asking if I have seen the musical Six. Yes, I have. I think we might have talked about that. I got to see it on tour, and I enjoyed that a lot more than I expected.
Yeah,
And the touring production starred a Orlando actress who is now in Here Lies Love, which I've got some friends who've seen on Broadway and really liked. I love David Byrne, and seeing him collaborate with Fatboy Slim. I wish I could get up there to see that. And Vince has a bit of trivia just to show how important Flushing, Queens is to Chinese Americans. Inside Edition recorded their 2020 Lunar New Year segment in Flushing.
Ooh.
I did not know that. And finally, Austin says that they were there that day at Carowinds when the crack was discovered on Fury 325. Pretty freaky. Glad everything turned out okay for everyone there. So, all right. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of another episode. Thanks again to MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Please, everyone, give us a rating and review wherever you listen to us, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com. Search for Attractions Magazine on whatever social media platform you follow, including Threads. We are now on Threads.
Yeah. Oh.
And until next week, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. And we will see you again next time. Bye.